Hi, I'm so glad you reached out to me. I've been making videos, so I'm glad your professor had endorsed me because I hadn't heard from them in a while, and definitely it was a time when we were just like met in the class. So I'm glad we can function in this format. So when you're looking at that topic, and I'm looking at another media over here, or monitor, media related to environmental change. So there's like tons of media, there's tons of ways to describe the environment, ton to describe of change, but then there's also like the value added ones where people are like, well, pollution and garbage in the ocean, or there maybe like suggestions like weight reduction, recycling, or something like that. So there's like all these different ways you can approach it. The big paradigm shift is that if you go to the library homepage and you just type in pollution, it's not a smart search. It only looks for those characters. So if you misspell pollution, I'll do like pollutioning. Is that a word? It's not. Oh, I'll be darned. Did you mean maybe this has like a correction? But if you misspell something, typically a database won't be able to find it because it's only looking for those characters. Because in an academic library, we're not allowed to look at your history cookies or your IP address. So it's only those keywords that you put in. So let's start with the first one, and then I'll walk you through some databases and some strategies for finding more of what you're interested in. And there's going to be millions of things written on it. So go to Advanced Catalog Search. We'll start there. And if you start out searching media, it's only, again, going to look for things that have those 5 letters in that particular order. So there's only 133 million results. So the thing that we would want to do is add another keyword after the and right here. So media, and let's try, oh, you want it to do environmental. So that will narrow it down. So it's going to find all those 133 million with media in it. And then out of those search results, it's going to find everything that has environmental in it. I'm heading somewhere with this. So now there's 2 million. So let's add another line and put in, just for fun, conservation. So out of those 2 million, then it's going to find everything that has the word conservation in it. And that narrowed it down even farther. The only problem that we've got is, what if they're talking about preservation instead of conservation? Or what if they're talking about ecology instead of environmental? Or what if they say YouTube instead of media? So what you would do, and I'm going to send you all of these keywords. Normally you wouldn't have a number of keywords like this, but you do media, or what did I type? Oh, social media. If it's more than one word, you put it in quotes. And so you can put all the synonyms in related terms. Instead of typing those out and making this video painful, I'm just going to cut and paste what I've already typed. So are you focusing on a particular media? So I was thinking like documentary film, or YouTube, or Facebook, or TikTok. Like Yik Yak is showing up again. Is there a particular platform you're interested in? What this will do is it will expand our search. So we'll go from 132,000. And so, oh, it didn't add actually all that much. That's fascinating. So the next one, let's add extra terms to environmental, or synonyms. And I'm just guessing on these ones. It might be other ways for you to talk about it. So it could be the ocean, could be farmland, it could be the air over Salt Lake City. There's different ways of approaching this, and all of these are kind of general. Environment or environmental. Is that going to make it bigger? Oh, 175,000. Okay, now. But wait, there's more. Again, I'm heading somewhere with this. So on this one, I have protection, policy, preservation, sustainability, or advocacy. Since this is like a political thing, you could put politics there too. But if people are talking about it, they're all going to be using all these different words. Okay, so we're back up to 1 million. How do we narrow it down to the things that are happening right now? I would say go to publication date. And I would say do the last 2 years, because it's like post-pandemic, unless you want really old stuff. Oh, by the way, there's really old stuff that might be valuable, like books and things like that. Let me know if you're interested in those. But right now, for a research methods class, I'm going to focus on scholarly articles that all have a research methodology or an instrument that's pretty easy to discern. Okay, we narrowed it down to the last 2 years. We have 167,000. Let's go back up and say, okay, these things have to be in the title. So instead of showing up anywhere, I'm going to narrow it down to just the title. I only want this stuff where this is the most important thing of the last 2 years. Ooh, 551, looking at this number right here. Okay, for peer-reviewed articles, let's narrow down to peer-reviewed journals. And all of a sudden, you will have very discretely defined studies in the topics that you're looking at. So there's social media where Noida, I have no idea where Noida is, but they apparently have a rural population that they're trying to communicate to. So that's probably any number of different methodologies. When you click on this, on the red title, typically you'll be able to see their method. What did they do? This study, and they have numbers, 68%. Okay. So they're using social media, and they're using a concept which a local person would understand. They're using, here's all the media that they're using. They're looking at 100 rural people. Oh, it didn't give me the methodology. They should tell you, are they doing surveys or focus groups or interviews or something like that. But that's an article, and you would just click on link to online resource to get it. And have I done this today? I haven't. I apologize. This is where you would get one article. Very few of them are going to be generic enough that it'll give you like the complete picture of what's going on, but they'll all be like really tight studies like this. Let me show you some more. So there's TikTok, content message, there's hotels messaging. Oh, there's hotels again. Looks like there's a lot on social media. So if you wanted to, you could narrow down to a particular platform if you're interested in. So you get the idea on that. Let me show you some databases and how to take these keywords and move them to a database. So from the library, there's databases. And since you are with that particular professor, I'm guessing you're in sociology. So let me show you a couple of sociology databases that are totally amazing. So are you familiar with databases? Oftentimes professors will say, go to the databases and go to EBSCO, or go to this day. So these are all by name, but you can also go by type. And let's go down. I guess you could do like engineering if you wanted to look at that, or you could look at communication, or you could look at education. If you're interested, let me know, but I'm going to go straight to sociology. And Sociological Abstracts is a database that has the publications typically around sociology. There's some variables in and around, but mostly it's looking at like societies, public policy, how people interact and communicate with each other. So I'm going to take these keywords. Not now, Google Chrome Updater. And you can always add another line. Ooh, and in this one, instead of conservation, I'm going to grab my other list, and I will send these to you too, about like the specific issues. Being pollution, climate change, deforestation, and things like that. And on this one, I'm going to look just in the abstract. I don't want it to look anywhere, but I'm closer to the mark with sociology. A lot of these will be case studies on how governments funded advocacy groups or things like that. And this one over on this side has a scholarly journal, so you can narrow down to that again. And there's also a date range, so you can come up from the 1970s, which I'm sure is great, but your professor's probably asking for more recent stuff. And there, 106. That's not bad, but what you would do is you would just start going through these and say, which ones are you interested in, and then use those. So like, this looks like coping with pollution in Turkey's Cancer Valley. This could be a situation where they're working with an environmentally damaged area as an intervention. So instead of prevention, it's intervention. Forest management, community perceptions in Tanzania. So really very similar, but this is all through those sociological disciplines. Another one that I'd recommend is in that same list, but you can also go under the letter P, and it's PAIS. This is very much public policy, and so these are like where they spent federal, state, or local money, depending on wherever country you went into, and it's kind of like the data of how did it work. So if you did Brazil and deforestation, did you see that I put the and in there? This is going to be less of like society's impact, and it's going to be more about governments trying stuff out. Oh no, there is some sociological stuff in here too. So macroeconomics, predictive modeling. They're looking at a business, so the livestock sector. And again, scholarly journals again. These are just typically from like political science people. By the way, most of these have citation generators that sometimes work. Let me know how it goes. I'll send you all the keywords.